Hello and welcome to another episode of Tester Speak, and I'm your host Brijesh Dev. Today I have the youngest participant of Tester Speak with me, and I wanted to interview this person for a long time. In fact, ever since I had Tester Speak in my mind, I wanted to get him on the show, but then I was a bit reluctant from my side about getting a young tester on the show. But then some of the things that he does, some of the things that he speaks about, some of the things that he likes to showcase have actually prompted me and have actually given me the thought of getting him on the show, and has given me the confidence that no, I will be making an absolutely good choice. And today here he is on the show. I am very happy to welcome my guest Balaji. Welcome, Balaji.
Hello, Brajesh. Thanks for inviting me. It was an awesome introduction. It was really great. It was a fanboy moment for me to speak with you again.
Oh, well, you are being very kind, Balaji. And I made a confession there. Initially, I thought that I should get you on the show when Tester Speak started because when we talk about young testers, we look for enthusiasm. And I have a story to tell my audience about your enthusiasm. So, Balaji started talking to me over LinkedIn in the start of this year, somewhere around January, February, around that time frame. And he kept on messaging me when can I speak to you, and for some reason or the other he kept missing me, and I wasn't able to give him the time. But one fine day amidst all the lockdown, I think in April, I just called him, and he picked up the phone, and he started talking. And when he started talking, I was like, oh, this guy is so good. He is so much fun to talk to. And ever since that day, we've been talking. I've started following his work. Uh, you'll be surprised to know that he has a little over 2 years of experience in the testing industry. But trust me, guys, he is a very wise man. And I am so happy, Balaji, that you are on the show. It is an honor for me to have you on the show, actually, because there is another story that I want to share. And Balaji can give you a little bit of a background. So, what happened was he asked me a question that for you know surviving in the industry, do you need to have a formal course or a formal training in testing? And I gave him an answer that no, it is not necessary to have a formal training in testing. But if you really want to learn testing, please go through the rapid software testing class with James Bach and Michael Bolton. And the next thing I knew was Balaji telling me that he's already enrolled into a RSTA course, and it was indeed a fun moment. So such was his level of enthusiasm that he just spoke to me, and within days he was there already doing his class. So that was awesome, Balaji.
Yeah. Actually, I would like to add a point here that I have been connected with you since 2019 itself, but I have started pinging you later only. During this year only, I started pinging you, and then only sometimes it was difficult to catch you up since you have been enrolled in many tasks. But eventually, I have catched up you, and we had conversations, which was really good. It was a great moment for me to have conversation with you, and I have used LinkedIn as a learning source mostly. I have read most of your posts, Pradeep Soundarajan's posts, and nowadays I'm reading James Black's posts too, James Black's and Michael Bolton's posts too in LinkedIn. So it was happening like that only so far now.
Well, you mentioned some very big names there, Pradeep Sundararajan, James Bach, Michael Bolton. I mean, they're all stalwarts in the world of testing. I do not know if I can come any closer to what they have achieved.
Even I had a chat with Pradeep actually, video call when he started this coffee time with Pradeep in LinkedIn. So I booked a session on that, and then I had conversation with Pradeep too.
Well, and the very next day after you had a conversation with Pradeep. I had the opportunity of having a virtual coffee with Pradeep. So I also took advantage of that opportunity because it's not every day that you get to speak to these people. So you should not leave any chance that you get to speak to them. Is
Yes,
what I
right.
thought. So yeah,
Yes,
that was a very interesting moment. We had a very nice conversation, and Pradeep, we all know how good he is. The things that he does, his journey has been incredible, and we all have been learning a lot from him. So that is awesome.
yeah.
And I do not have book right now on the desk with me, but usually it is there somewhere hanging around. It must be kept by my
Buddha
bedside
and testing.
because I usually read it. I've read it so many times. Buddha in Testing is the book that I'm talking about. So the thing
Yes,
about
yes.
that book,
I'm having no.
you might want to show it to the
I'm
audience.
having no.
Yeah, you can.
Yes,
Yes,
here it is.
that is the book that
I'm reading this book daily.
even I do that. Probably not daily, but every now and then I go back. And when you are looking for peace of mind, this is the book that you should go to. So there is a funny story about it.
Yes.
When I learnt about the launch of this book, I wanted to order the book, the hard copy. But then I was very impatient that I have to wait for 2 days for the book to arrive. So I went ahead and ordered the book, and simultaneously I ordered a Kindle version also. So so I got
Oh,
the I got the Kindle version and I read it within 3.5 hours. The fastest read because it was so intriguing, and it is not a very thick book. If you read it continuously, then 3.5 4 hours is enough. And I did that. I mean, and
yes, right.
that was a such a pleasant moment for me. It was like, oh my god, this is awesome. And then I started reading it slowly again just to process the information over and over, and it was fun. And 2 days later, when the hard copy arrived, I was so happy. The only thing that's missing from that book is Pradeep's signature. Maybe sometime, maybe sometime we'll have that opportunity to have his signature on the book. Well, on that note, let's get started with this interview session with you. So, Balaji, although I know about your your journey so far, I've been inspired. So, would you like to share something with the audience about the journey that you've had so far in testing?
Yes, actually, I have started my career as a MATLAB programmer. I am from mechatronics background. I did my undergraduate in Shastra University from Tanjavur. I did my bachelor's in mechatronics, which was a combination of all the three steps: mechanical, electrical, electronics, and software. Initially, I have joined as a MATLAB programmer in one startup company called Sysenso Systems Private Limited. I was working there not for even a month. That company director has referred me to a role in Siemens, which is a tester role for a software called SimCenter Amism, which is a mechatronic simulation software. So initially, I thought testing role. I have never heard about it, and I have heard from some people that they are saying testing is boring. But since the software is related to mechatronics, I thought I need to give an attempt on it. Initially, I hesitated to accept that offer, but after that, I'll just give a try on it. Let me see what happens like that. I've just informed my startup director, so I just went and give a try on those interview. Finally, got selected, which was a surprise moment for me. I never thought that I will get placed in Siemens and I will be working in a mechatronic simulation software. So I was happy. I was happy. And then I have started exploring the software for a week. I've just started exploring the software with my knowledge in MATLAB Simulink. I just explored that software because it was almost similar to MATLAB Simulink. So after that only I have received some scenario documents to execute. But what they have instructed me is that don't just do the checking alone. Don't just check what is there in the scenario document alone. do apart from that, like that they told me. So that was the starting point for me, how to test it. Initially, I've struggled a lot to find bugs. Uh, I used to go through the defect stories. So after going through those defect stories and bugs only, I was able to test a bit. But I don't know about oracles or heuristics at that time. So I couldn't able to explain the bugs that I have found. I used to ask developers often that is it expected. So sometimes I felt a bit strange for me that I need to correct this. So after a year only, I took that ISTQB exam. Which is on February 2019. But unfortunately, I was able to crack it during my second attempt only. Actually, I've read a book called Fundamentals of Software Testing by Rex Black, that book, and open course from Siemens regarding testing. So with those two preparations only, I went for ISTQB. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to crack it in my first attempt. I cracked it in my second attempt only. But I felt the questions from ISTQB doesn't make me a tester, because how will be applying those with real-time software? That was my question running in my head. So at that point only, since I have started testing that Amazon, I thought that I need to share my testing knowledge in some social media. That's how I started posting in LinkedIn from 2018 onwards. So always in my post, I used to mention like looking for your comments and suggestions, like that I used to mention in my LinkedIn post, so that whether I have understood correctly or not. From their replies only, I have started learning about testing. Like that only, I have approached James Back. I have approached James Back. James Back, he provided me a scenario. I had a Skype call with him, not a video call, but an audio call. I had a Skype chat with him. He told me to test a website with respect to performance. I was keeping on answering, but I didn't even ask a single question to him. So James told me, why you didn't ask a single question about why you didn't get clear with your mission? Like that, he has asked me, and he has provided some suggestions by start writing some questions in your note for the software that you are testing, and then approach with those questions. Like that only, I have started my exercise, testing exercise. So slowly it has been evolved. Slowly it has been evolved, and then I had conversations with many people like Pradeep, yourself, and after this rapid software testing class, I had conversations with Ajay, even with more people like Rahul. And I need to thank Geosley Andred is here, because he is the guy who helped me to write articles in a good way. I need to appreciate him here. So like that only I got connected with these much networks. Now from them only I'm learning a lot. And I have did n number of courses. I wouldn't say that if you do certificate, it is not a value. You need to apply those. Then only it is a value for you. You need to solve a pain of some people. For example, in my company, developers told that they need to fix bugs faster in the branch itself, not committed to the trunk, because there were many minor bugs at the time. So this is a pain point for developers. So I need to solve their problems. So that's what the tester can do, because he need to bring value in what he is doing, either to find bugs sooner or propose some new features. Because I have proposed some few user stories. I have created some user stories to implement those new suggestions. So testing is not only finding bugs; it is also to propose some new ideas. It is also give some suggestions. In one word, I can say testers are here to provide feedback from customer point of view, and make the people aware regarding risks. What are the risks in the product? So how it can be, how it can affect the other features, how it can affect the stakeholders, like that. So like that only I am doing. Recently, I got a great appreciation from my manager. My performance was really good this year due to rapid software testing class and hands-on testing with Ajay's workshop and many steps. So this time my manager was really happy, and my performance also was really good. So far, this is how my 2 years journey has been gone, and I have started writing articles in LinkedIn to share my knowledge with others, because I never hesitate to share knowledge. So I thought that I need to come out of my comfort zone to share my knowledge. So any comments it comes, okay, take those positives and analyze those negatives. if that negative is really important for me or not. Only if that negative comment is important, then I will take that into consideration and then I'll try to improve it. So this is how my learning process was. So this is my overall journey. This was my overall journey, Brijesh.
Well, that is absolutely phenomenal. Um I don't know. I am getting some sort of a noise from your end as I speak. So I don't know. It may be a technical issue. Um, not
Probably my fan would be
No, no, not when you are speaking, but when I am speaking. So probably
okay.
when you are not speaking, maybe it's a good idea to try and mute and see if that makes a difference. Uh, so I think that is absolutely phenomenal. Can you try and see if the mute thing works? Uh, yeah, I don't hear a sound now, so it's clear. Uh, what I want to say here is that this this little piece that you just said about starting with a company and then trying to test a software which is similar to MATLAB Simulink. I have worked on MATLAB Simulink myself. I think it is a very innovative, very creative piece of software, especially for people working in the mechatronics domain or anybody trying to, I used it in college for digital signal processing because I'm an electronics engineer, and you can't get away without using MATLAB Simulink. But that is one great piece of software. The projects are very interesting in that domain, so it is incredible. And then the way you described about ISTQB, that it's all theory and no practice, and that is a similar sentiment that even I have. Okay, I took that exam many years ago as an experiment, and I passed it, of course. But then I was always worried about the practical implementation of what I have learned. I tried to implement whatever I learned, as a result of studying or preparing for that exam. Studied the same book, Foundations of Software Testing by Rex Black, Eric van Veenendaal, and Dorothy Graham. That is the book that I also studied. And I tried to apply. But then I saw that largely across the industry, not many people do that. They do the certification primarily because either the company is asking for that certification to just get over or clear the interview round or something like that, or it is just a tick in the box for a lot of people. It's just a check that okay, ISTQB certified. There is no significant value
Yes, right.
to that certificate itself. And being ISTQB certified does not mean that you are a great tester. Okay, it does not make you a tester like you said. That is something that I want to emphasize. Yes, ISTQB certification for entry level for getting through interviews. Okay, I will accept it, but it doesn't really make a difference to you as a tester. And as a tester, you want to be working on stuff real time. You want to be doing things with exercises, hands-on workshops, and RSTA class or the RSTE class uh, give you a lot of opportunities to do that. It is all about application of the testing knowledge that you have. And I'm glad that you did that Skype call with James and he asked you to ask questions, because at the heart of testing lies asking questions. You are questioning the software. You are raising your concerns about it, and we've had a lot of people talk about asking questions. Recently, we had TestFlix 2020, thanks to the test drive community, and in that,
Yes, yes,
nobody other than Dorothy Graham herself spoke about the
yes,
art of asking questions, which I thought was a fantastic topic to talk about, because it's about
yes.
reinforcing your ability and your importance of asking questions. That was awesome. And then you mentioned some names. along with James. You mentioned about Ajay Balamurugadas doing this workshop. He does this workshop quite often, and I think it is a good exercise for testers. So yes, if people have an opportunity to do that workshop, they should, because it opens your mind up.
Even I have, yes, even I have provided a testimony for that testing lab workshop, and I think it was there in the test drive website.
Yes, yes, I have read the testimony that you provided, and then I want to also give a shout out to Josley for the great work that he does. So it was very nice that you paired up with him and he mentored you. He's a great guy. He has a lot of energy, and every time it surprises me how he manages to do that. He's a part of the test chat community. He's a part of the test chat community. He writes good stuff. He you know does so many sessions. He does these exercises, mentoring exercises. I He is on the list of people that I need to get on Tester Speak. So I'm revealing my guest list here. He's been on the list. In the early part of 2021, he will be one of the guests that people will be seeing on the show.
Sure, I'm waiting for his talk.
Yeah, I am also excited because I have so many questions for Josley. It is an incredible session with him. Now, I want to, moving further, I want to ask you something interesting, something which I find very interesting, is your interest towards probably because of the mechatronics background that you have or the work that you're doing, your interest towards operational technology, not necessarily is information technology, but operation technology where there is a lot of hardware involved. Okay, so I want to understand your perspective on testing hardware and testing software together, and how you do that. Do you think there is a different approach when it comes to testing hardware compared to testing software?
Probably when actually I need to say that when testing the software, you need to have a bit hardware knowledge to test it, because there are some components in the software itself like sensors. So you need to have the knowledge about sensors, and there are some you can do electric circuit design too here. So you need to have that knowledge to create models for electrical circuits. So it is not necessary to test with software hardware integration directly. So initially you will be creating a prototype in the software itself, and there are three levels of testing on that: model in loop testing, software in loop testing, and hardware in loop testing. I just came to know when exploring this software only. So first the models are getting tested, and then the controller part model will be converted into a C code, and then it will be tested, and then finally with the hardware and the software they use to test that model, and then finally that is hardware in loop simulation, and then finally they will dump that embedded C code to the controller. So this is how the process was. So I think in ISTQB itself they are providing a course called automotive software testing, which covers these concepts.
Indeed, it does. Yeah, I just unmuted myself. I was talking while I was. Again, there is some noise that I'm getting from your end, Balaji. So, yes, the noise just disappeared. Yeah, so you spoke about hardware in loop, you spoke about software in loop, and the very important thing that you spoke about is the sensor, okay, or testing the device itself. Nowadays we hear a lot about smart home, smart kitchen, smart fridge, okay, something that will tell you when your milk is over. So when you are testing all these smart things,
Yes, right.
when you're testing all the smart things, you have to be smarter, and you have to design your test strategy accordingly so that you are able to test it in a smarter way and test it across the various layers of the product itself. So we talk a lot about Internet of Things, IoT and IoT testing. A lot of people ask questions what it is and what is it is not. So, what has been your experience in testing such applications or devices?
For me, with this application, SimCenter Amisim, the user base is so large. It ranges from mechanical engineers, mechatronics, robotics, automobile, aerospace, marine. So it has a large end users base for this software. And there are many interfaces also there. You can interface Simulink with the software. You can interface Adams, which is a simulation software. You can interface that with the software. So there are many interface softwares too. So the thing is like the testing for this software is really complex. So and just now I've been involved in testing platform features alone. So I need to move towards solutions side too, because there are two sections: platforms and solutions. Platform is for the general overview of the software, and solutions is for those libraries. Different libraries are there: 3D mechanical, 2D mechanical, thermal, automobile, aerospace, like that. Several libraries are there. So I need to test those libraries to interacting with the software. So the testing was really complex, and a bit hardware knowledge is also required. There are some components like transmitter, receiver, multiplexer, demultiplexer. These components are also there. So I would say that having an hardware knowledge would be better to test these kind of softwares. So like this, there are many softwares available like MATLAB, Simulink, Amisim, and there is a language also specifically called Modelica language that has been used by engineers widely. And regarding this point, I need to highlight: do testers need to learn code? If they are able to learn coding, they can able to test these kind of software. So it is not necessarily only for automation. And second thing is many of insisting only on automation itself. There is also another side called test data generation. So here now I have started generating test data using Python itself by itself. And here also in the software there are some features for which I need to create those models using Python language. So testers, if testers they are able to learn coding, they would be able to test these kind of softwares. So hardware knowledge plus coding can be really good to test. They can have a nice experience and interesting too. They can have an interesting experience if they want to test these kind of software.
Yeah, you brought out a couple of very interesting points here. First of all, is knowledge of coding, and I want to talk about that. Now, it brought me an instant smile on my face because I deal with these kind of things currently. I have heard a lot about them. In the products that we work on, a lot of these technologies are used. And being from an electronics background, I cannot you know be more happier to hear about multiplexers, demultiplexers, and you spoke about circuit design. We There is a lot of emphasis on PCB design and how that could be tested. The awareness of modeling, model based testing, how it is important, how you build models for small things and then scale them up to have larger models of entire systems, and then generate your test cases out of those models, or out of using model based design to generate tests, to generate test data. And you brought out a very important point about knowledge of coding. Yeah, there is a general perception that, okay, if you know coding, you will be able to do automation testing well. Yeah, of course, but you can test these kind of systems as well. And if you are looking to scale up, if you're looking at a bigger picture, if you're looking at testing IoT and industrial IoT applications, then knowledge of coding would definitely help you. It will take you a long way in trying to understand what is going on inside, what is cooking inside. And like you said, I mean, generating test data, not just generating test data, but collating the results from the tests. After you run, you gather all that. Coding can help you do that also. It can help you visualize your test reports. So it is not just restricted, the knowledge of coding or the knowledge or automation, as I can say, is not just restricted to running regression tests. It is much more than that. And knowledge of coding does help. So if you think that, oh no, it is quite boring, well, you want to think about it once again, is what I would say. Yeah, I understand that some people don't like to code. It's not their comfort zone. But what is life if we are too comfortable, right? We should be a little uncomfortable in our lives, isn't it? Anyways, moving further, I want to ask you something. So, you've just started your testing career, and do you see that, okay, 10 years down the line, or 15 years down the line, there is enough for you to do as a tester? Enough for you? I mean, do you see that it is a fulfilling career option?
Yes, I'm seeing it as a fulfilling career option only because I would say that daily I'm facing some new challenges daily when testing the software. And many people are saying that testing is boring. I would say that testing, if they are doing only checking, then testing is boring. They need to come up with some ideas, test ideas to test it in from different angles, lateral thinking. So I would say that testing is not boring. If you are really passionate about that, you will really dig in what is happening inside, and you will just break out the stuffs. So I would say that testing is having a scope because if development is one side of the coin and testing is also the other side of the coin, because the complexity and the technology is also is getting increased. So the same side testing complexity is also getting increased. So I'm seeing a great future for testing. And regarding artificial intelligence, many people are saying that well, whether testing will be replaced by artificial intelligence. Definitely not, because they are algorithms. They are also algorithms which has to be tested. Because I remember that in one of the course that I learned about mobile robots, in that itself the professor, he has mentioned like we need to test it rigorously. The robots has to be tested rigorously under different conditions. So under different terrains, under different tracks, if it is a mobile robot. So I would say that testing has a bright future. They need to focus on the craft. Testers need to focus on their craft of test design, like I would say that they would need to work like a hacker, in one word. I would say that because I would like to highlight James Clerk's speech on becoming a software testing expert. I would like to highlight the video. If testers are watching this video, please go and watch that video. There are many useful information available, and useful suggestions has been given by James. So please go and watch that video.
I will put a link to that video in the description of this particular video. If you can go and watch the video and his talk on how to become a software expert. I think this is quite interesting. I was going to anyways ask you a question about AI, but you answered it. Uh, it is very interesting that a lot of people believe that AI or machine learning will change the way you look at software, or will it change the way you think about testing. Okay, it will take it away and it will be over within no time. And if any young testers, if somebody who has started their journey now, or who is planning to look for career options, well, first of all, Okay, testing has a lot of scope. So for those testers who, or for those engineering students who are thinking that the testing has no future, well, what Balaji said is very interesting, and you must take a note of that, and you must listen to him more often, because he started his journey 2 years ago, and now he's fallen in love with it. I can clearly see that. I um, Balaji, are you still there?
Uh, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Uh,
I can.
Yes, actually, I never thought that I will fall in love with testing. But when I have started reading books, following some great people, and the post from LinkedIn and now Twitter, it was really great regarding testing. And I think more research has to be done on testing. So that's what I've written a post regarding reading research paper on testing. So if you remember, there were comments on that, and especially James has mentioned this link about the list of papers that he have read. So I think probably a link can be shared in this
Oh
description
yes,
below.
yes. Oh yes. I will share the link to your post as well, your LinkedIn profile and the post that you are referring to, because you have started to bring about a lot of interesting things out from your perspective, and it is very important that we realize this. And I'm so glad that a young tester like you is starting to speak about that, because over the years, in my experience, what I have seen is that in the industry, we, uh, we get stuck with certain way of thinking. Okay, we get stuck with a way of thinking, and somebody has to come and remind us that no, you have to look outside the box, and you have to think more on that subject, and that's how you remove all your biases and you start moving. And it is important that you speak about these things, and you will obviously, based on what you've just said, it's about seeing the value in the craft. Okay, and as a tester, if you don't, from time to time, see the value in that craft and see how you can improve as a tester, then I think there is a lot to question, because I feel that our before we criticize a piece of software, before we test a piece of software, the first thing that we should be testing is ourselves. Are we still good enough? Because technology is changing every day. Are we keeping ourselves abreast with that technology change that is happening? Are we also scaling up our knowledge? Are we also diversifying in our skills as a tester? Are we still able to stick to the basics and be able to ask questions? Sometimes we tend to take things for granted, and it's like, okay, fine, no more training is required. I am done. Okay, that is never the case. So over a period of time, it is important that we keep attending meetups, we keep attending conferences, workshops, we keep talking to fellow testers, we keep reading, we keep writing papers, we keep reading papers from testers. James Park, Michael Bolton. I mean, they have tons and tons of papers written on this subject. There are papers from other subjects. There are papers from other testers rather. We must keep reading. There are some people who are doing some incredible work, whose work is there on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is a great source of learning. A lot of testers are on Twitter. Most of them are on Twitter rather, and they are very active. There are a lot of active discussions that happen. So one must try and follow other testers. Learn more.
Yes, I would like to highlight Ken Kenner also. Ken Kenner, he has also written many research papers, and his course on BBST, which is available in YouTube. They can watch that, because that is also really interesting, the way he delivers the lecture on BBST, black box software testing, and its contents. So I would recommend to watch those videos also and follow the website of his work. If I'm right, testingeducation.com. That website, I think most testers can follow that.
Yeah, you mentioned some very good resources. In fact, our own good friend Rahul Parwal, he did a series of mind maps as a collation of learning he had from watching Kem Kainer's BPST class on YouTube, and that is also a good resource to follow. The kind of mind maps that he's put together. There is a series of articles that he has written. It's a great source of learning for everybody. It's there out there on LinkedIn. I will try and share a link to that as well. So there, I mean, we have been speaking about so many things. Uh, I will have to listen to the whole interview again before I actually put all those links because I don't want to miss out on anything. But a lot of interesting resources you've been able to list out for fellow testers, Balaji. It is incredible. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. Now I want to
Uh,
yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, still there are some more thing I need to include also regarding Ministry of Testing website. That website also was really useful. Recently, I've started watching that Ministry of Testing website. So there were also many useful resources on automation, exploratory testing, everything. And there was a series, I think, 90-second series with related to software testing. And there were many videos on that. I think that can also help people to understand what exploratory testing is, how to use charters. They have mentioned everything. So Ministry of Testing is also one of the recommended website, I would say. And regarding test automation, I'm strongly suggesting that Test Automation University because it was really good. And if they want to know the test automation basics, there was a course called Setting Up a Good Test Automation Foundation by A.G. Jones. So I would recommend that course because I've got two key takeaways from that course. One is that automation is a development activity, and still testers need to test the automation scripts also. So those are the two key takeaways for me from that course.
Yeah, I mean, and you spoke about MOT and the Test Automation University. MOT, we know how the kind of great work that Rosie Sherry did, and now Richard Bradshaw is doing behind that, and the entire team of at Ministry of Testing. There's a bundle of resources available. MOT, I mean, if you are not a part of the Ministry of Testing, they have a Slack group as well. It's a good idea to join that. There is a lot of information that's passed around that. And talking about Angie Jones and Test Automation University, wow, that is such a wonderful resource. If there is one single tester that I would like you to follow, if you are an automation enthusiast, then it would be Angie Jones. I mean, the kind of cool stuff she does as a tester, the kind of talks that she has given. If you listen to those talks themselves, if you uh, you know get a chance to read the work that she's done, it is incredible. And with Test Automation University, it is really good. Uh, it gives the confidence back in you as a tester, because a lot of times when you are starting with your test automation journey, you need that extra push, and that extra push comes from that TAU course from Angie Jones. And I want to give a huge shout out to the Test Automation University, to Ministry of Testing, and all other communities, the Test Tribe, because they also have a lot of content. They recently did this Testflix testing bench. The kind of speakers that were invited, it was phenomenal. It was,
It
and
was a big treat actually. Testflix is a big treat for all testers. There are many good speeches from that Testflix. Really, I loved a lot Testflix. It was great.
yeah, and
Uh,
and you know, almost all their talks are now available on their YouTube channel. If not
yes,
all of them, but most of them
yes,
are now available. It's a good idea for you guys to explore. Again, link will be there in the description. I don't know. So many links, so many resources Balaji has shared. I will have to go over each one of them and make sure that all of that is shared in this.
Okay. Probably I would like to highlight this experience also because I have a mixed experience of both exploratory as well as automation because I have written some automation scripts too. Uh, so what I got trained in using the automation tool called SquishQt. So since I need to use since I need to automate Qt based applications, so from these mixed experience, I would say that the basics are strong, then you can master your craft. Then only it would be easy for you to automate because you will come to know what to automate and what not to automate. So keep the basics strong and then march ahead, I would say.
Well, Squish Cute is a very interesting tool, and if you learn to use it, there are a lot of cool things that you can actually do with that tool. The only thing is that the support for Windows and Windows-based applications is a little poor. Otherwise, it is quite handy. But tools are tools. There are alternatives. Obviously, go and play around
Yes,
with.
sir.
And anyways, I want to move into my favorite section of the rapid fire, and
Okay.
I'm going to ask you 5 questions. Okay, for every multiple choice question, you will have to answer and explain why that choice. Okay, and the time to respond to every question is 5 seconds. In 5 seconds, you have to give.
Okay.
All right. So, uh, what's your favorite food?
My favorite food was puliyogare. It was my favorite food. I love this from my childhood, so I used to eat that food.
So if I give you puliyogre for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it'll be fine.
Yes, it would be fine.
That's quite interesting. Yeah, puliyogre is nice. It's for those who are wondering what it is basically a preparation of rice with a little bit of tang in it, a little bit of spicy, sour combination. It's fun. It tickles your senses very quickly. So that's the version of puliyogre in my head because uh, when I was in Bangalore, there was a lot of puliyogre preparation that I had, and I also love that dish. And what would be your favorite holiday destination, Balaji?
My favorite holiday destination, I don't have anything specific regarding that because I used to travel not often. So probably my favorite destination would be hill stations mostly. Mostly would be Kodaikanal or Ooty, and sometimes my birthplace Coimbatore. So these are the destinations that I loved a lot.
Okay. So software testing or a game of or a match or a cricket match. What would be your favorite thing to do?
Software testing.
You don't like to watch cricket?
So I used to watch before cricket, but nowadays I have felt bored on that. I have felt bored on cricket due to T20s and ODIs. But I used to watch Test cricket alone.
So,
Test cricket alone only I find it interesting than ODIs and T20s.
what about the recent test match that just happened yesterday? And something happened yesterday. I don't want to talk.
It was a bad feeling. It was a bad feeling.
I don't want to talk about it because it was really sad. You spoke about test
Yes.
cricket. Well, what happened yesterday was not test cricket. It was
Yes. Yes.
something else. Anyways, Anyways, okay. So moving further, if I give you an opportunity to test a software which is a mobile app, or if I give you an opportunity to test an application inside a space shuttle, which one would you prefer?
Inside a space shuttle,
Why?
because I love complexity. So I would want to test those complexity. So I will choose that.
All right. Well, so you survived your five question rapid fire. You've done well. So congratulations on that. You did not get stumped anywhere,
Thank you.
but you did it within the 5 seconds time frame, which is good. So so one final question before I let you go for quite a while. Um, what does Balaji do when he's not testing or not thinking about testing?
I used to read books, not related to testing, but related to other subjects. I used to read biographies of Sachin, Abdul Kalam. I have read a series of books. I have read Wings of Fire, uh, and I used to play games because I was fallen in love with computers due to games only. I used to play games online and some games in desktop during my childhood. Now I'm playing games in mobile. So I used to play games, and sometimes you chit chat and fight with my younger brother because 11 years difference between myself and my brother. So I used to chit chat and fight with him, and sometimes I used to teach him also. During teaching only, I came to know that I need to have some passion because sometimes when I'm teaching, he used to ask more questions on me. Sometimes I would get fed up. So I'm trying to reduce reducing those attitude so that in future I would become a good teacher in teaching too.
Well, that's how younger brothers are. They ask a lot of questions. I remember days when I used to
Yes.
teach my younger brother, and he would ask me so many questions. I'd be like, "Okay, God, stop, stop asking those nasty questions. I do not know the answer." And then he would immediately say, "That is why I love to. I love when Dad teaches me rather than you teaching me, because Dad has an answer for every question, and you don't have answers." So, anyways, that was you know a lot of fun talking to you. A lot of things you have shared. A lot of things for testers, not just young testers, but for experienced testers also. A lot of information, a lot of details shared. So thank you so much for your time today, Balaji. It was incredible speaking to you. I,
Yeah, thank you so much, Brijesh.
I am thrilled to see the passion in you, and may this passion stay alive for a really long time, at least until you retire, maybe beyond that. So you've been an asset to the test chat community. You've made valuable contributions, your thoughts, uh, and we look forward to more from you. And I wish you a wonderful career. Every time I speak to you, you bring a smile on my face because I know that there is somebody who's so passionate about testing, and I'm talking to somebody who's really cool about testing. So keep up that spirit. Thank you so much once again. And,
Yeah, thank you, Brijesh. Can you hear me?
yes, I can.
Uh, yes, thank you so much, Brijesh, for this opportunity again, and uh, hope I would like to see test chat growing in a big numbers, and I would like to see more participation in our test chat group. So it was the test chat group is going great, so it has to be grown faster, and I would like to see its success. I would like to see the success of test chat group.
Thank you so much, Balaji. You have a nice day.
Thank you. Have a nice day.